Today on the channel, we have one of the greatest tent designers of our time. His name is Dan Durston, and I actually mean that because Dan has designed a tent that has taken over the backpacking industry, and it's only a few years old. And there's only just a few iterations of this one tent, but he's finally releasing a second tent, and he's here to show us that today. But I want to say this before we get into the video, that Dan and I did not exchange any money to be here at all. This is all completely on our own. And in order to pay for these types of videos, we have to have partners for the channel. And the partner for this video is Onyx Backcountry. If you have ever thought about maybe supporting this channel, if you like the videos on this channel, anything like that at all, this is your opportunity to do that just by supporting our sponsors. The best way to support this channel is to support the sponsors who support this channel. I don't have to tell you a ton about them. You already know it's an app that helps you plan your entire backpacking camping experience, from finding a campsite to finding water sources, all of the things. And they have so many features that make them the best in the industry. And the fact that they help support this channel is next level. So please support them, support our channel. Let's all work together to make these videos a success, that we can keep making them and having people like Dan show up. Also, one more thing, I went to Moab, Utah recently with Onyx Backcountry on a trip where someone actually won the trip and could be on this trip with me and Onyx, and unfortunately, this person got very sick last week and could not make the trip. And Onyx felt absolutely horrible that this person couldn't show up, and I did as well. So we together were able to get a hold of Garage Grown Gear, and Lloyd over at Garage Grown Gear felt terrible as well. And he said, "How can I help?" And I said, "Lloyd, if you could just send me an entire backpacking gear loadout to give to this person, that would make that person's day, that would make that person's world amazing, the fact that they couldn't come on this trip." So we're giving this whole backpacking loadout to them from Garage Grown Gear, and I looked through it, it's totally awesome. And all the gear that we were going to send that person is actually right here. So thank you to all of those amazing companies that were able to help out. You guys all came through to help make this person's day bright, even though they couldn't come on the trip. So click the link in the description below for 20% off of Onyx. Also, go ahead and click the link in the description below to check out all the gear over at Garage Grown Gear that we gave to that awesome person. And now what you've all been waiting for, my conversation with Dan and his new tent. This is Dan Durston. Dan, how did you get here and why are you in my backyard?
Yeah, I was doing a lot of hiking in the Canadian Rockies, but I thought, I gotta get somewhere more awesome. And I thought, the rolling hills of Wisconsin, that's
there
where I
is nothing better than Dan Becker's backyard.
Yes.
That is it. Okay, so you brought something today that has maybe been seen before. You got a video out on it already. I think maybe one other video's out there on it, but this is your new tent. I've never seen this tent before other than in a video. You're gonna show it to me first time. I'm gonna give you my honest opinion and thoughts on it. And yeah, so tell me about this, this tent.
This is our new X Dome tent. It's really our first tent that since the X-Mid. So the X-Mid came out in 2018. We've had a whole bunch of versions of it. This is our first completely new tent. It still has some similarities to the X-Mid, but really it's our first completely new tent in 5 years. So I'm really excited about it. I think it really brings a lot of new stuff to the freestanding tent world. And so that's what's different about it, is it's our first freestanding tent.
You started working on this tent though when?
Forever ago. Kind of 5 years
ago. Were you
ago.
Teasing it? I feel like you've been teasing this tent for a while.
Yeah, we teased it a bit over a year ago. I started working on it conceptually about 5 years ago, and then 3 or 4 years ago we were actually prototyping it. It really sucked for a while. It was, yeah, there was a lot of bad stuff about it where we had to change everything and figure it out. The poles used to be on the inside, they're on the outside, the shapes changed.
Okay, so why is this the world's best tent?
It's awesome. I think it's awesome. So we worked on this, we prototyped it a million different ways, and where it ended up I'm really excited about, because it does do a lot of stuff that I think is a step forward for the freestanding tent market. So first of all, one of the cool things is that this fly is 100% polyester.
Okay.
Which is polyester, I've heard of that, that's kind of boring, but most tents are nylon for a bunch of reasons. But polyester, we love it. It's so much better because it doesn't soak up water, expand, sag, and dry slow. So with the polyester tent, it's just going to stay tight, dry fast. It's just kind of exactly what you want.
Why do you think other people love nylon though?
So nylon, they both were invented around World War II. And then in kind of the 80s-ish, nylon really took over because you could get it so much lighter. All the really light versions were nylon. and you could only get heavy polyester. So if you wanted to make a lightweight tent, you had to use nylon. It is, or at least used to be, a little stronger for the weight. That's kind of been improving. But historically, it was stronger for the weight, and it was the only light fabric. So that's what everybody used for lightweight tents. It's only been in the last 5 years, really, that lightweight polyesters have really taken over. And then this tent, it's cool. This is, I don't know if it's the world's lightest polyester. It might be. It's the first 15 denier polyester in a commercial tent that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Which, denier is a crazy word, but it's the thread weight of the fabric. It's lighter. And the cool thing with that is that we used a new chemistry.
Yeah, that does feel actually thinner. Like because your original X-Mid
was 20.
I can tell. I can just instantly feel that.
Yeah, so we went from 20 to 15 while using improved chemistry. So it used to be, it's almost identical strength. It's just we just got it lighter with better chemistry.
Okay.
So this is, I think, the lightest freestanding tent that's polyester. It's pretty cool. It just makes your life better. It's not like this hardcore, like crazy strong thing, but it's like practical. It's like, yeah, my tent's not going to take forever to dry. It's not going to get loose. The fly's not going to stick to the inner. It's just going to work.
Okay. And that's what you want your tent to do, right?
Yeah, I like when they work.
Yeah, it's usually helpful when your tent works.
Yeah. So the second cool thing is that it's got carbon fiber poles. I don't like polyester. Carbon fiber is not this like brand new thing, but what is new here is that we are using a premium carbon fiber in a freestanding and like kind of or like pretty affordable tent. A lot of other carbon fiber tents are like $1,000. They're really expensive. Ours is much more affordable, even though it's the same Easton carbon, because we don't have a retail markup. So we can just sell it direct to the consumer. We don't have a retailer like doubling the price.
Okay.
So we put more money into like making a better product instead of just markup essentially.
Why on the outside of the tent?
That's something that we experimented with. We did it both ways, but really what I wanted to have happen was that I noticed that in North America, everybody's tent pitches interior first because they like these beautiful Instagram shots, set up, beautiful sunset, and there's just the tent. In Europe, everybody thinks that's crazy. They're like, you're gonna get the inner tent soaked if it's raining and you gotta set it up inner first. So in Europe, a lot of the tents are external frame and they pitch fly first. With this tent, I wanted it to be able to do both. And there's only a couple tents that can really do that, but I wanted to be able to do both in like a simple, intuitive way, so that if it's raining, you set it up fly first, you're protected. If you don't want the fly, you can just as easily set it up inner first.
Okay.
And that's enabled because the poles, the fly, and the interior all connect at the same 4 points. So normally on an ultralight tent, you're gonna have a hexagon fly where the poles only go to 4 points, but the fly goes to 6. And then it doesn't totally define things if you don't have all the parts. A regular tent fly is gonna be a hexagon that'll be like a V shape here.
Yeah.
And then this isn't a straight line of fabric.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
It would just the corners just sort of pop out.
Okay, so this is almost, whoa, okay. This just totally hit me. This is almost like your X-Mid in a way, right?
Yeah, the floor plan is like the X-Mid.
I got it, okay.
It's still a rectangle.
Okay.
It's still,
yeah.
That's one of the cool things with the X-Mid, and then also leveraging it on this tent is that we use a different floor plan that makes everything work in a simpler rectangle fly.
Oh yeah, sure.
So it's like our X-Mid with a rectangle fly, diagonal floor, except here the floor is expanded to fill that back vestibule. So
okay.
It's
so if this was zipped up, it would look like it'd almost feel like any other freestanding tent, but I'm looking inside of it and it's definitely not.
Yeah, instead of the vestibule sort of sticking out from the core area, it's set inside the core area.
So you've essentially taken the vestibule and pushed the tent or inner in to create the vestibule on the inside of the tent.
Yeah, so it's sort of like the X-Mid where we're making everything work in a simpler rectangle fly. So it's inside the rectangle instead of outside, basically.
Okay.
And that just simplifies everything.
Yeah.
It sounds basic, but it simplifies everything.
Well, I feel like the footprint's smaller than what I would normally see.
It is, yeah.
So you could pitch the fly first if you wanted to.
You could pitch the fly first. You could pitch just the fly. You can set them up together. You could set them up separate. And you can pitch just the interior if you want to. So the simpler floor plan, it works better for like pitching in any order. It also makes the doorways awesome. Like these doorways, they're tall because of the crossbar. And then the angled zipper makes them wider compared to like a straight zipper that you'd be getting in half the door.
Yeah.
And then the vestibule is not right in front. Like if you have a backpack, it's sitting over here.
Sure.
So you're not climbing over it.
Yeah.
And then it's also a short reach. It's only like 1.5 foot
to
close the fly door.
Right.
Most of the time you're crawling out.
Yeah, that's the worst. Especially if it's raining or like there's tons of mosquitoes.
So it's super spacious, it's simple, it pitches in any order. And then it's also crazy strong for an ultralight tent. And that's partly because the carbon fiber poles are just going to be stronger and lighter than aluminum. For a given amount of poles, you can make it stronger and lighter with carbon.
Okay.
And then also the floor plan enables a pretty cool trick where you can put your trekking poles inside the two peaks or both ends of the crossbar.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw that on a video. Like you sort of had a trekking pole propped here and one on the other side.
Yeah, there's a little like pocket kind of right here.
Oh, yeah.
That you could stick your pole in. It's already like, you would really basically never need to do that. It's like, it really is about triple the strength of other ultralight tents. Like, it's pretty strong.
How much does this weigh without the trekking poles?
It's just over 2 pounds.
Oh, wow.
So it really is, it's like for a double wall, fully freestanding tent, it's right there with the latest tents on the market while being quite a bit more spacious.
This does not look like it's that light. Like
it looks like a real tent.
No, but like literally, like as I'm looking at it, I'm thinking there's no way that's that light. That's incredible.
It's super light for what you're getting. Like for a double wall, nicely sized, fully freestanding. It's not like sort of a half freestanding or single wall. It's like it's super comfortable, like familiar type of tent.
Okay.
But still like super light. It's about the same weight as an X-Mid with if you add the optional poles.
Sure.
So if you're going to be carrying those anyways, then you may as well just have a fully freestanding tent.
Okay. How is it getting in and out when it's raining? Do you find that it's easy to not get rain inside of the tent when you're getting in and out of it?
Yeah, so it has a protected door. So that means there's a bit of overhang. It's not like a ton of overhang, but it's just enough
I can see there's definitely overhang for sure.
Enough overhang.
Maybe not as much on this end, but definitely like up.
Yeah, it just gets more and more as you come this way. So you can even roll back this side of the fly.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
And then...
Yeah, that's nice.
So if you want to do a 0 stake pitch, so this, a lot of tents will say they're fully freestanding, but you still need to stake out the vestibule. So they're like, is that fully freestanding? That's like mostly freestanding. This one, you can actually pitch at 0 stakes. So there's a bunch of ways to do that. One is to roll the side back, and you still have this awning, so you could still have a backpack and stuff sort of sheltered there. Or you can also use a trekking pole to hold this small side of the door, sort of like what I was just saying, but the pole goes from the top, and then the bottom of the pole just stabs the stake point.
Okay.
So it just stabs this, and then you don't need to use the stake there.
Okay, on other freestanding tents, what I've noticed is when it's not staked in, the tent will just naturally sort of fold in a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, it loses a lot of interior space. Does this tent do that?
You're always going to have a little better pitch when it's staked because you're pulling it out to tighten everything up.
Yeah.
But we really tried to have it be like pretty good without any stakes.
Okay.
So it's really complicated, but if the floor is too tight, it pulls the poles in, and then the fly's all saggy.
Okay.
And like vice versa.
Yeah.
So we really tried to balance everything so that if it's not staked, it's still totally usable. Like the fly's not going to touch the inner. It's still nice to stake it out.
Yeah.
It's more that you can let the conditions dictate the stakes. So if it's like, oh, there's a super annoying rock right here, just skip it.
Yeah.
And then put that one in, or just do whatever you want. Get a couple in, but let the conditions dictate that, not the tent.
This is a big tent. Like I'm 6'2".
Yeah.
I got a long torso. I can't even get my top of my. If I was sitting on a sleeping pad,
maybe just get the
hat.
Yeah.
I might be able to get the top of my hat on there.
The top is 42 inches. Most tents are like 37, 38.
I was gonna say,
So it's like 4 to 5 inches taller. And it's pretty flat roof, like you have that height over a lot of the interior.
Oh, you put loops up here.
I did.
Yes.
We sold out.
Thank you, Dan. I was gonna give you crap for that. I kind of like hoping you didn't, just so I could give you crap.
We get too much
and I'm
crap
excited at the same time. Yes, you put loops up. Like, why don't people put loops up there? People like to hang headlamps up there.
Yeah.
Or just stuff or whatever, you know?
It's almost a gram. But
they are a little small, though.
Yeah.
They're a little small, Dan.
I can't
They're a little small. I could barely put my finger through it, Dan. No, they're good.
So it has a ton of headroom, and then the floor obviously is tapered. So your feet would normally go at that end, and then you could have like a backpack beside you, or even a dog.
I mean, that's tight, but you could.
You would
like if I was at a. Sometimes I'll set up my tent.
Yeah.
And I think I've got the head end up higher than the foot, and then you lay in it, and you're like, oh, I really want to flip this thing around right now.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like you could definitely, because there's ample room to like sit
you can
up.
sleep
It's like
either way.
almost vertical here.
Yeah, it's like kind of like a normal 1-person width at that end, and it's like a 2-person width at this end.
Yeah. Oh, you put a pocket in it too. Nice
Yeah.
job.
I got
First
2
time you
pockets.
put a pocket in it. Didn't you get big like?
On the first Pro tents, we didn't have any pockets.
People were really mad at you for that or something, right? They were giving you a hard time about it?
Yeah, sometimes we're a little hardcore for our customers. Yeah, the actual story on that was I did try to make a pocket on the Pro tent, and it was not working. And I was like...
You got 2 pockets in here.
Yeah.
Big pocket and a little pocket.
I scrapped them on the Pros because they just weren't working, and then everybody wanted them, so we finished that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like 1-person width at that end, 2 on this, so you could have like extra gear at this end of the tent.
Yeah. Yeah, this is nice. I do like this vestibule. Is there a 2-person version coming?
2-person will be out like in early next year, in early 2025.
Okay.
And you can also try out opening the other side of that interior door.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And then,
look at that.
So then you could totally open it up. Like now you could like just walk into this tent basically.
Yeah.
And if you got like stuff in the vestibule, like now you can cook there and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. That's nice.
And
you could have saved about 8 grams though.
I know it. There's even a magnet to roll it back. It's pretty.
Oh really?
Pretty luxurious.
Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, you can roll it up and flip it to the inside.
Yeah.
And then like it really is a massive doorway. Like I don't think there's any tent that's like this easy to just like
No, this is nice.
into.
I feel like I could, if I'm not a type of, I don't usually eat breakfast in my tent, but this is pleasant. Like I feel like I could sit here and not have this like this while I'm eating.
Yeah.
I can
see the world.
See the amazing view that I've got right now, which may or may not be a trampoline and a
the rolling hills of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Fall foliage, it's nice.
Okay. Okay, this reminds me of your X-Mid.
Yeah, we have the cords that connect that, and that way that if you didn't have the fly, the inner would still connect to that, so it would hold the pole in position.
Sure. How's the ventilation?
It's good. We have a bunch of things. There's the peak vents on both ends, which at this like around 2 pounds, a lot of tents are going to skip the vents.
Okay.
So you actually still have real peak vents. And then because you have so much overhang, especially on this side, you could do something like, you could like half stake out this door, whatever you want, and have this like, you got like almost 8 inches of overlap here. So you could do a few different things, but like stake the tent out here.
Oh yeah.
And then just have like a big overhang, and then in rain you can have the tent open like this.
Oh yeah, that's nice. Oh, you can still get in it too.
Yeah, there's a bunch of ways to get in. The door's just set up so many different ways.
Okay, well, you got the waterproof zipper here.
You gotta have them, yeah.
Why do you like waterproof zippers? Not everybody does that.
Yeah, on a tent everyone's gonna use YKK zippers. You've got uncoated zippers, and then you've got the AquaGuard, like the waterproof. Technically they're water resistant because they have a little seam, but I like them because I just hate flaps. I feel like
they're always getting stuck in the flap.
They're always getting stuck. They look like they're from the 90s. So the flaps, like, they work when it's just raining, but then if it's a crazy storm, they're blowing open. So you still kind of want to have the waterproof zipper anyways.
Okay. And then as far as how this connects to...
We've got the little metal feet, and they can stack in any order. So they're like the metal feet. There's one on here.
So
okay. If you pitched it inner first, you would actually have this one on, and then later it'd be on first, and then later if you wanted to add the fly, you just put that one under.
Oh yeah.
The feet are nice because then you can just stack them in any order. A lot of other feet will like clip, like the floor clips to the side of the fly.
Okay.
There's a million ways to do it, but you need it to work the same on both, so you could do it in any order.
Oh, I see. You've been the trekking pole tent guy for so long. Why did you? What was the goal of a freestanding tent? Oh, and I want to know, like, what do you take out? Like when Dan Durston's going into the mountains and he's reaching in his gear closet, which one are you like honestly taking out? Like, I would rather have this, and for what reason?
Yeah, my favorite tent's the Pro One, the X Mid Pro One. It's the weights on it's just like ridiculous. Mm-hmm. So if I'm doing anything like fast and far, it's the Pro One. It's like half this weight. And then if I'm doing something that is low effort, like I'm going out with my daughter like half a mile to the campground, then probably I take this one because it's easy.
And you
it's
make her
friendly.
carry it, right?
I do, yeah. The poor little. Yeah. So I take this one for like the friendliest trips. I take the Pro 1 for the most intense trips, and then there can be trips in the middle where I take like the regular X-Mid. That's a bit because I want the double wall.
Okay.
But I still don't need to have it.
But if you're just a shopper who's no tent, he has no tent, he's trying to figure this whole thing out. As the guy who makes these tents, what are you going to tell them to buy? This is the tent you should probably buy. Which one's it going to be?
Yeah, if you don't know, it's probably this one because this one is like approachable, friendly. It works for everybody. It's.
I agree. This to me is like the safe. I've seen that style of a tent before, so I'm comfortable with it. I like poles. Trekking pole tents freak me out. I can see that.
It's still like a serious, like we're doing everything as like intensely function performance driven as we can, but it's within the context of being a very friendly style of tent that doesn't require you to kind of really learn anything about pitching it or get stakes in or know any techniques for tying to rocks or anything like that. If you don't know, probably this one.
Okay.
And then if you're a little more like into like the scene and hardcore, then you probably, our trekking pole tents are going to allow you to take that next step on saving weight.
Okay. So what do you think the haters are going to say about your tent?
People, we had somebody say it's not ultralight.
Really?
It was like, it's literally like basically tied for like the lightest fully freestanding double wall tent. But yeah, like on Reddit right now, there's like somebody commented like, it's not ultralight, like, and it's got a whole bunch of votes and stuff. But basically, it is a more normal style of tent. But again, it's still like it's carbon fiber, it's next gen polyester, like everything is like as awesome as it can be. But yes, you could use a trekking pole tent and be even lighter.
Okay, so the big question everybody's going to have is how much does this cost?
Yeah, so the X Dome 1 Plus is $369 US, which is $50 to $100 less than kind of your big brands for this, and that's really just because we don't sell through retailers, so we don't have somebody like doubling the prices. This is definitely more expensive to build because it's carbon fiber, it's got so much stuff on it is like expensive, but we just sell it direct so we can put more money into making a better tent.
Wow, that's okay. Wow, that's pretty cheap.
It kind of makes sense to put the money into the tent.
Yeah, you did a good job. I approve. You did great. Is there a Dyneema version coming?
I hope so. It would be awesome. I feel like there's never been that. There was like another company that made Dyneema freestanding tents, but they were through retail. They were like $1,200. So it was just sort of like a deal breaker for most people.
Yeah.
Whereas again, because we're not through retail.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. And they were. You reviewed one. I did. I talked about it. I never. Yeah. The Dyneema was like.
Is the 0.3
or something like that. It was so thin, like you could look at it and it would poke a hole in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to do one that's like a more like realistic version of Dyneema and a more realistic price, and I think people would be stoked. It's still going to cost more. Like this is $369. It's going to be like $800.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be like $1,300.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
that would be a cool next step for sure. We'd like to do that. If people are stoked, we'll keep making more versions.
Okay, when can people get a hold of it?
We have our first tent we launched a few weeks ago. It's on pre-order right now, shipping in about a month. And those are going to be sold out soon in the next week or two. So by the time this video gets posted, maybe there's a few left. And then we're going to keep orders open. There's just so many people stoked about the tent. So we're going to keep orders open for the spring tents. So people can pre-order them on our website if they're sold out. Okay, so if they're sold out, realistically, we're talking probably March, April. March, April, yeah, for batch 2. That's cool. I like it. You did a great job. Awesome. All right, where can people find you? We are just basically through our website, DurstonGear.com, or Instagram, I guess. Awesome. You heard it here, folks. DurstonGear.com. If you're Tom and you have that website, I'm sorry, it's DurstonGear.com. We'll see you on the next one. YouTube is a rabbit hole of information. So in order to solve that problem, I wrote a backpacking course where I took my 10 years of backpacking experience and the 400 YouTube videos that I filmed and condensed it down into just 18 videos and a few lessons for you to learn. All you have to do is go to my brand new website, danbeckeroutdoors.com, and look for the course.